What's up, everybody? It's Four here again. Back with another episode of Topics with Four, Conversations with Four, whatever you want to call it. Welcome back to the Four Glow Up. So, on today's episode, we're going to be talking more about artistry, okay? And when it comes to artistry, I want to talk a little bit more about what it means to be safe and careful as an artist. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is the music industry and making music in general often causes a mental imbalance to occur, okay? Now here's what I mean when I say this. A lot of times when I'm making music, because I myself am an artist, as a lot of you already know, I'll start to realize that sometimes things don't feel necessarily right? So it may be that you're singing and you get a little lightheaded, and you may push it a little too far, and you may feel like, oh, I'm like something may be wrong. But in reality, which in some cases it might be, depending on what the situation is, but sometimes it's not necessarily anything wrong. It may just be that you didn't necessarily, it may not be something seriously wrong. It may just be that you didn't necessarily breathe properly that day or eat properly. But there's also a deeper level to the music and how it affects artists. Now, a lot of creatives know, especially if you put your all into this, mentally, it starts to become taxing. You start to feel as though everything that you do when it comes to the music is, I'm trying to find the right words to use. I would say a lot. It becomes a lot is the best way that I've heard other people describe it, and that's the way that I feel. It just feels like a lot is going on. So in those moments, it starts to become a situation in which if you are not strong enough to fight through it, you could end up losing yourself. So that's what I feel like a lot of artists mean when they say be careful in this and work on yourself. And just like watch yourself as much as possible, but especially just be careful with yourself and the way that you move through this game. Because, not to be redundant, but if you really look at it, what it comes down to is mental health and physical health. So a lot of people don't understand the aspect of mental health in art and music. You put a lot of yourself into this, especially if you are real creative. You put all of yourself into this. So with that, doesn't it make sense that you would lose a part of yourself if you're giving all of yourself to something? So with that, you then have to go through the process of trying to find yourself again and gain those parts that you missed or lost in this process. So I think it's very important for artists to be careful with the way that they move and the way that they treat themselves in this game. Especially, you also should treat others well, but in this game especially, you need to be careful of yourself and your mental health. Because health is wealth at the end of the day. And if you're not here, you can't be anywhere. Do you see what I'm saying? In order to really, I'm gonna say it again. If you're not here, you can't be anywhere. You can't make it to where those places that you want to be, that you think that you'll be eventually, if you're not here to tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? So the thing that you, as an artist and as a creative, need to focus on outside of your art is your mental health. Meditate. And by meditation, a lot of people hear that and they say, oh my God, what is meditation? I don't want to do that. That sounds like that hocus pocus magic shit. Excuse my language. At the end of the day, it's just deep breathing. It's just taking the time to give yourself a second, breathe in, hold it, and then breathe out. It's just conscious breathing. It's just being aware of those breaths. That's all meditation is. But what that does is astronomical for you as a person. Outside of being a creative, just as a human being, it'll drastically fix those headaches that you may be getting as an artist. Those weird, especially if you're a singer, those weird feelings that you may get in your throat when you're singing sometimes. Especially if you're a self-taught singer and you don't necessarily have that formal training. You may end up pushing yourself a little too far because you want to hit those notes. So you end up in a situation where you kind of hinder yourself and hurt yourself a little bit. A way to quickly heal that and to get through that is meditation and that deep breathing. Another way is through exercise. I know sometimes it's hard to believe that the physical can directly affect the mental health of you, but it genuinely can. I know it's kind of hard to believe that these curls and this bench press and this jumping jacks and this jump roping that I'm doing is going to genuinely fix my mental. It will genuinely make it so that you feel better, you wake up happier, you genuinely feel as though life is positive. You look at things a lot more optimistically. And all of that makes for better art later on. Yes, it's good to live in those painful moments as an artist. But you then have to, and once you put it all into your art, all that pain, all those painful moments that you lived in, you have to take those moments and then actually heal from them outside of the art, outside of the music, outside of the painting, outside of the drawing, outside of the animation, outside of the game design, outside of whatever it is that you do as a creative, the videography, the photography, whatever it is that you do, that you put your all into, you have to then look at yourself and then put just as much back into you as you put into that. I don't know how else to say it, but yeah, that's kind of all I had to say on that matter for today. Again, meditate, drink some water, go outside, take a walk, look at the sun, keep your head up high, and live long and prosper, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to end these yet. I'm going to work on that. We'll work on the ending. We'll get there. But moral of the story, focus on your mental health. 4.